Hey, RetconRaider here, and welcome back to Warhammer 40k Rogue Trader. As today, with the fleet neutralized, what den? This den. I mean, really, not much else to say. Let's get in there, teach these guys a lesson. The lesson, of course, being not to refrain from piracy and plundering, but rather to be careful about who you pick fights with. There's always a bigger fish out in the Astral Sea. Also, I can't help but notice this map looks immediately familiar. Just, maybe slightly less warp saturated. Oh, okay, that's different. I see. Guild the Psycho. Actually, this does feel familiar, beyond just the obvious fact that we procced the same exact map in the previous event. I kind of vaguely remember an event back in Alpha where we had to sneak through a ventilation shaft and there were some assassin tools like tucked in one corner. Implying we weren't the first ones to come up with the same approach. Ranger's Visor. Plus 10 ballistic skill, Aldari only. I mean, sort of an assassin's tool, but obviously not what I was recalling. That would be more along the lines of the Xeno heresy we're here to exploit. Stop, probably. They're not two mutually exclusive concepts. And yeah, let's go ahead and swap those out. I mean, granted, we do get a greater bonus overall from the targeting visor, but the Ranger's visor is more universal. Not to mention, increasing our base ballistic skill does make certain narrative checks easier, as we saw during Yurliet's recent rescue event. Though I will miss the eyepiece. I'm always a fan of asymmetrical ocular eyewear. Alright, so let's see what we've got going on up here. Cutters up top. Gunners down below. Poisoner and thugs far side. Okay, yeah, this does seem like a better place to make our stand. The cutters on the upper walkway are a bit of an issue, but we can have Pask and Abby hold the two choke points. Tuck Adira off to one side, just in case she has a meltdown. Snipers on the walkway here. Should give them good visibility towards everyone approaching. Yeah, pretty straightforward. Alright, let's do this. These guys made their hotbed. Now they've got to sleep in it.
You will beg for mercy, but I will grant none.
I'll bleed you dry.
Horde of thugs. Sounds like an accumulative effect. We'll want to trim these guys down quick. Also a leader, Remy the Lead Rain. And Gil the Psycho at the base of the stairs. Oh, and Ulas the Slasher tucked in the corner there. I like those names. Really evocative of, like, classic Trigun or other similar 90s era anime. Yeah, looks good. Task up first. Set kill zone. Toss out, oop, nope. Just out of range. But we can do pass tack. Seven stacks, not bad. Set the rest of our zones.
The scriptural prognosis is favorable.
And random acts of violence. Still standing. But now we've got Cass, so we can do an immediate follow-up.
I'm afraid not.
I'm afraid so. And Slasher's cut. Though I do notice Pask also took out his own cover. That might be a bit of an issue. My goodness, look at that web of LOS.
Let's get to it.
Yeah, we're going to need to lock these guys down quick. Let's go ahead and buff up Abby. Then we'll trim that group in center. Yeah, let's go for center. Abby can focus on the guys coming up the stairs. Center clear.
Let's get to it. Hold on.
Interesting.
Let's
we
get
go.
to it.
Out of my way. Let's get to it.
Yeah.
Ulos and Gil, both incoming. But honestly, movement slow enough that we're not really under any pressure here. Remy just went, but he's also a brick. We'll start chipping.
If it serves your cause.
High momentum.
Poison her out.
Fall, creatures! Fortune favors the swift.
Remy debuffed. And one last shot. Let's go for... we'll just keep whittling Remy. Remy at half.
Hold on.
Get to it.
Really? Really? You sure you want this?
Out of my way. Let's get to it.
Gentlemen?
Let's get to it.
Alright, Abby. Do your thing.
Indeed.
Yeah, not really sure how else that guy saw that working out. Really kind of put the cartilage before the horse there.
Victory is imminent.
Alright, Remy. Let's usher you off this mortal coil, shall we? And rain called on account of game. Oh yeah, I forgot you were over there. I don't suppose I can bonk you over the railing? No, it doesn't look like it. Alright, fair enough. Some games get weird when it comes to elevation levels. Like, I think both Pathfinder and Wasteland, you could melee attack regardless of height. They only took the X-axis into account for adjacency, not the Y. As opposed to games like Baldur's Gate 3 or Solasta. Or Rogue Trader, as we have clearly just demonstrated. Though obviously not as much a major component as it is in those other games. Which is a shame, since I think it's fairly obvious I do love knockback. Knockback and exploiting verticality go hand in hand together. And yeah, at this point I think it's obvious we're just kind of going through the motions. These poor guys never stood a chance.
The undesired of insignificant value.
Though really, the token fleet out front should have been a pretty clear indication that we're slightly out-leveled for this region. I am hard-pressed to imagine how we would have come out here sooner, though. Like maybe if we had hooked a right after Janus, en route to Dargonus.
Let's make it quick.
But even then, the bulk of our leveling, I feel, came from Janus, not Dargonus. Dargonus was primarily dialogue events, at least on initial contact. Abby, could I get you over here real quick? Thank you, Abby.
If only that were possible.
Cover me!
Let's get to it. Hold on.
What you've got.
Let's make it quick.
I like your weapon. I'm gonna take it for myself. Are you, Gil? Are you really? I feel like you might be slightly overestimating your chances here. Honestly, as far as the pirate leaders go, Ulas is currently leading the pack. He at least got a swing off on us. Remy died while he was still in setup. You know what we should do is push Alois back, cluster him up with the rest on the stairs.
Out of my way!
Oh, right. I guess I should probably kill that guy, too. I keep forgetting he's over there. But no hurry. I suppose technically these guys are slightly higher priority. Oh, you poor guys. I'm starting to feel like a bully here.
Reduce to dust!
Alois hasta la vista.
I'll see to it personally.
And Alois out. Pass coming in to trim the rest.
Approved.
Oh, wow, right. We have this whole group over here, too. Oh, right, okay. I set the kill zone one step too high. Fair enough. Let's reel in Gil.
Let's get to it.
Ooh, close.
Your end was inevitable.
And Finn.
You never stood a chance.
Just leaves the cutters, I think, which should be fairly trivial.
Hold on.
Here, maggot.
Wow, still falling just short. Hey, guys. Yeah, I'm gonna have to cut you guys loose. You're just not hacking it.
if I must.
Damn it!
No more. I
Let's
understand.
make it quick.
Oh, right. I don't know what it is about that guy. He has such minimal impact on the battlefield, I keep forgetting he exists.
At your beck and call.
You should feel honored to witness this. It was inevitable. I'll make it happen.
And we're done. That should just about cover the hotbed. Ooh, and a level up. Nice. All right, let's see what we got. Then we'll break so I can see what we're doing with these level ups. Lots of cargo, nothing of particular note. How about you, Remy? You gonna make it rain? Nullifying shotgun. Notably higher damage than our current combat shoddy, but also lower armor pen. And lower range. I mean, that's not bad, but it's kind of a lateral move. The higher damage is nice, but directly offset by the lower pen and range. I'll have to think on that one a bit, especially since really we mainly use the shoddy for buying breathing room, not so much for actual damage. What else we got? Gunslinger's Helmet. Grants the wearer's ranged attacks 2 times rate of fire % damage. Which obviously is fantastic for Argenta, but not so much for our current crew. As well as Radiant Chestplate. Great armor and deflection. Fellowship bonus is slightly more questionable, but Vanguard does have some stuff that scales off Fellowship. Might be a decent upgrade for Abby. We'll have to crunch the numbers. Drukhari Clave, no big deal. Unstable Flamer. Interesting. Yeah, not a lot here to really get excited about. Best item we got is the helmet. And that's for a character we're not currently actively using. Though the breastplate would push Abby up to 40 plus fellowship. Oh, wow, yeah, okay. That is actually a notable step up. 5% extra armor, 2 extra deflection, plus the AoE bump. Yeah, we'll do that. Ooh, looks halfway decent too. Not bad. And then we can toss his gear over to Pascal. Yes, which is also a notable upgrade. Okay, so we did actually get something out of this. Some nice armor bumps, a new eyepiece for Yurliet, a helmet for those rare occasions we actually use Argenta. Plus, of course, our level up. Yes, so that alone was probably worth it.
I always keep my options open.
Give me a sec to finish canvassing the area, then we'll give that a gander. Generic cargo. Oh, here we go. Mars pattern chain axe. Plus Furor. Boosts resolve scaling off Iconoclast. Weird. Though that minus 10 characteristic debuff pretty much guarantees I would never actually use it. It is very strange, though, to see an item keying off of your morality. Like, how would that even work, logistically? I know it's just a game, but still. Nice damage bump on that chain axe. Loss in armor pen. Oh, never mind. It's locked to heretical. Yeah, that does kind of make that an easy choice. Fair enough.
Always keep your eye on the price.
And I guess that's it. Wow, I've got to say, guys, for a hotbed of Xeno heresy, I really would have expected more Xenos and or heretical artifacts. Though I suppose if you were an actual successful group of Xeno heretics, you probably wouldn't have gone down so easy. Yeah, that tracks. Alright, moving on. Oh, right, level ups. One sec. And we're back. Turns out level ups are extremely straightforward this time. Everyone gets plus 5 characteristic and plus 10 skill. So they're all going pretty much where you'd expect. Valen's got int capped, so we'll go ahead and sync it into ballistics. And then for skills, we'll bump up logic, which surprisingly we have not capped, but apparently we've only gotten like one skill upgrade the past 10 levels. Which again, really does kind of define exactly where all these points are going. Cass has already capped Fellowship, so her secondary is Will. Then we bump up her Persuasion, which is her primary. For Yurliette, we'll break ever so slightly and go Lore Xenos, just because it's flagging a bit too far behind. Though we will still give Demo a very slight bump by boosting her agility. Honestly, I might be spreading Yurliette a bit too thin. She is kind of all over the place. Ballistic, perception, agility, intelligence. She's not nearly as focused as I would have liked. You know what I might do is respec her and Adira. Have them shuffle skills. Put Xenoslor on Adira. As for Abby, no real question here. We already talked about that. Oh well, first of all, we'll shore up his athletics. And then we'll bump up his toughness. That'll round him out at base 70. So we can immediately pull off that amulet, which he'll be handing off to Heinrichs. And then we can slot the Requimator, which isn't really a big deal. I mean, it is just base 3 damage per proc, but it does add up. He does tend to mulch through mooks fairly efficiently these days. Then we've got Pask, and we'll go slightly off script here. We'll round out his strength. Might as well. No reason to leave that at 45. And then for skills, we'll obviously cap tech. No real question there. Which brings us to Adira, who, pending potential respec, will obviously go willpower. That's her primary. And then we'll cap out Warplore. And then, yeah, see, like, she wouldn't necessarily be great at Xenos lore, but it would at least allow her to focus on just intelligence and willpower, as opposed to also spreading over perception. But I'll let future retcon worry about that, and he can crunch the numbers. That said, let's push on. I suppose we'll hit Nameless Star first. That does seem to be the safer and shorter route. When the Lord Captain arrived on the bridge during the warp jump, he found the on-duty officers in a state of utter confusion. They claimed they had been receiving orders from the bridge for several minutes, orders authorized by the rogue trader, but the Lord Captain had been absent. Curiously, the orders had been signed by the late Theodora von Valancius. After a thorough investigation, the tech priest attributed the strange incident to the whims of the machine spirits. Really? You know, I was only being half serious, suggesting that Theodora might still be tangled up in the ship somehow, but this really does kind of seem to lend itself towards that idea. Like, what if the Warp Beast was a fake-out, and the real Theodora does still somehow have a presence on the ship? Lord Captain, we have received an astropathic message from Dargonis. Achilles Scalander reports a Xenos raid against a merchant ship in the silence of Mer Segret. The coordinates of the hypothetical contact have been forwarded to the crew. If you wish to support your subjects and fight back against the Xenos personally, we must hurry. It is unlikely that a merchant ship will be able to resist the enemies of humanity for long. Right. Slightly sooner than expected, but where are we headed? Silence of Mer Segret? Oh, right there. Ah, of course. One off from Langren's belt. We were just there. Though, still, I mean, 2 jumps, that's obviously not bad either. We should be able to make it there with time to spare. In fact, since time only seems to advance when we're actively traveling, might as well finish what we're doing here before we double back. Yes, and we do have a looping path, though that is kind of a moot point now. Oh, projection from warp. Yeah, that's what you want to see when entering an unknown sector. Yeah, why not? Let's get warped. When the rogue trader's ship draws near the unidentified celestial body, the machine spirits on every deck from the captain's bridge to the cargo holds become frantic. The engines are refusing to cooperate, sending the void ship hurtling toward the epicenter of the anomaly, like an arrow toward a target. You awake after unsettled sleep to find yourself lying on a stiff cardboard mat. You are overcome with a strange sense of wrongness. The place is dark and reeks of body odor. Someone elbows you under the ribs and grabs you by the collar, spitting abuse. It is an enforcer patrolling the void ship, and she is clearly displeased. What's the meaning of this? Where am I? How'd I get here? The enforcer tosses you unceremoniously into a corner where similarly ragged people are scrubbing the deck. According to the sign on the bulkhead, this is Bay Theta 54, the lower decks. Good show. You have work to do. You need to get moving. Well, you know, obviously we want to get out of here and back onto the bridge, but at the same time, this does feel like a good opportunity to gain some perspective. To find out a bit more about what it's like living on the rogue trader's void ship. It does kind of feel like it would be a never-ending nightmare. The locals offer friendly smiles as soon as they see you. Perhaps it is your appearance. Staring hazily back at you out of a glass bulkhead is a shaggy, sooty-faced, worn-out tramp in rags. A face not all that different from those of your new friends. At any rate, no one is trying to hurt you. You are told a couple of amusing stories about local life, the almighty Lord Captain, and the monsters that frighten people every now and then when the entire ship shakes and red lumens flash overhead. The ragged people who have thoroughly enjoyed your pleasant company walk with you to the bay supervisor's cabin. Your poise and manners do make you stand out from the humble denizens of the lower decks. When you are restored to the bridge, the Voxmaster gives praise to the Emperor of Humanity and explains that you were trapped in an anomaly that made the people on the ship inexplicably trade places. A rescue squad was dispatched at once to retrieve your lordship, but your friends from the lower decks have already helped the Lord Captain back to where he belongs. Wow, that is actually surprisingly sweet. I was honestly just waiting for them to hit us with some inevitable grim dark twist, but no, just a straight up Disney sort of Freaky Friday in the 40k universe scenario. Surprisingly PG-13. I wonder if that can actually change based on your doctrine or previous story decisions. We are a pretty wishy-washy iconoclast. Oh, landing site. Ancient bunker. Which I do think I recall that from Alpha. Sadly, I don't think we have time for that today, but we'll definitely hit that next time. Mystery POI. Various minor goods, we'll take those. Plus, of course, adamantine, but let's see what's going on with this first. Again, this does feel vaguely familiar. The sight before you has excited the Officer Corps, who are delighted to witness the truly majestic end of this planet through the huge windows on the bridge, one of many nameless worlds throughout the expanse. An unknown reason caused the planet to break into several uneven parts, but its strong magnetic field is still preventing them from drifting into the cold abyss of space. The planet's hard inner core has remained almost untouched, as thousands of explosions taking place under its shell of hard metals light up the world's heart from the inside. The Augur crew detects several ruined extractiums on the broken planet's surface. Their analysis shows somebody used to mine adamantine here, but abandoned the deposit after the catastrophe. Most of the machines are damaged beyond repair, but the tech adepts claim one of the complexes can be restored if the rogue trader has the required parts and equipment. More adamantine? Absolutely. A few dozen time bells later, the Lord Captain is informed that the repair crew is suffering from unrelenting headaches, most likely caused by the oppressive magnetic field of this world. However, the machines have been successfully repaired, and the extraction of adamantine may continue if the Lord Captain wishes. Of course, the mine needs to be staffed with a squad of working servitors and a maintenance brigade, doomed to endure the endless pain caused by the magnetic storms. Man, why you gotta do me like this? I mean, obviously we would like adamantine, we have plenty of uses for it, but at the same time, I don't think that's something Valen would actually do. That is a shame, we could really use that. But no, we'll take the extractium and use it to harvest the, what I'll assume is a more accessible surface vein or something. 2 adamantine, certainly better than none. I mean, ultimately it is still a net gain. We're essentially spending 0 extractiums for 5 adamantine all of a sudden. You know what? I'm not going to question that. We'll take it. I'll just assume we somehow found a way to do that without condemning a work crew to an eternity of torment. Yeah, I'm sure it's fine. Plus, on the bright side, that does give us enough to get another project going. Let me just scan this last planet real quick. Empty. Oh, wait, this planet actually has a name. Trimmier. That's unusual. We'll have to keep that in mind. That's obviously relevant for some future quest. Though, for now, not much we can do here, so we'll just burn off our adamantine, and I think we'll be at a good place to call it. Shrine worlds are treasures of the Imperium, spiritual gems shining in the darkness. For Foulstone to become a shrine world will require an ocean's worth of thrones and bribes to greedy ecclesiarchy officials, as well as mountains of extremely rare materials to erect cathedrals worthy of the status. However, succeeding will give House von Valancius prestige, and the Order of the Hammers eternal gratitude. Sounds good to me, especially since their gratitude comes in the form of a fun new hammer. Not to mention, of course, a nice spread of various other bonuses, profit factor, and all 3 planet stats. Though, sadly, that does eat 4 of our 5 adamantine, as well as half our reserves of phlogiston, so we'll need to bulk up both to get any other projects going. With this being the next one in our queue. Forest Fortresses. So 2 more adamantine. And then we also have a trade deal, which needs 3, but that's the lowest priority. And I think that brings us to a good place to call it. Another somewhat shorter episode, but unfortunately, these landing sites do tend to get pretty involved. That's probably going to be the bulk of our next episode. Though hopefully with enough time left over to then also sail back to Silence of Mergret to intercept those Drukhari raiders. That said, we'll hit the pause button for now. I'll take care of the usual off-screen bookkeeping, clean up our inventory a bit, bank some more resources, boost our rep, and we will pick up here next time. As we continue to rather shamelessly plunder Winterscale's realm. Not that I think he's apt to notice, given the state he seems to have left this place in. Not really big on sustainable infrastructure. See you then. Oh, and special thanks to the Raiders, the fine folks who help make these videos possible, including but not limited to Eerie V23, Revenant, Alois, CrowkingLoR, Dragon Matrix 7, Drakiith, EgonAlter, Exsellsior, Gottlieb, James Trimmier, Kazorm, Mark Giemza, Nathan Welch Jr., OverlordPherom, RandomPassrby, RobbyB, Tomasz Piątkowski, Triphoppenskip, and Valinrook. Thanks for your support, guys. That said, if you'd also like to help support the channel, then feel free to push the buttons that do the things. Trust me, it does make a difference. Or you could even check out the PayPal, the Patreon, the Nexus GG, or the YouTube memberships. Links are in the description.
I'll bleed you dry.